Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tobi.
And I'm Temi.
And this is
Totally on brand.
Hi, T. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
It's going.
Temi, is it me or this year? I feel like I'm slow, but everyone is moving so fast.
Honestly,
what do you think of how this year is going already?
I feel like it's been 2 months and we've already had a whole year. It has moved super, super fast.
Is this year different? Or I feel like every year after since COVID has been, oh gosh, there's something happening.
You know what? You're right. It has been every year since COVID has just like exponentially been worse than the one before in terms of speed. It's insane.
Because it's a lot. Because I don't know. This year I thought, you know how I always say like my own year starts in February.
Mm-hmm.
Like let me just take my time,
Mm-hmm.
and then I look back and it's like some people have already done their goals in one sitting.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I struggled. Like I was like, yeah, January 2025, and then
no, I'm too tired.
My one tick on my checklist was okay. I'm not judging. I'm not judging myself. I'm not judging anybody. We are just going to move forward and we are going to progress.
No, I love it.
So what's been going on?
Key things that have happened this year that have excited me. I mean, I don't follow US politics, but that happened.
Ew.
We have a new president again. Okay, we're going to push that to the side.
Okay.
Money point.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So exciting.
That is very, very cool.
I think we should have a whole topic on that.
We should invite them on the podcast.
Right?
Yeah, let's get them on.
Question for you. Have you ever thought of creating a business for exit strategy?
It scares me.
Really?
I would love to, but it scares me.
That's my goal. Watching it happen with a lot of the tech businesses, I realized that even as a brick and mortar business, a lot of us don't even do that for long play. We literally just think set up a business and you must be in that business till you can no longer be in it. But the more I keep seeing a lot of the tech companies do it, the more I realize like I'm actually up for exit.
And I love that some people go into it with a strategy in mind. So it's like this is what I'm building this business for, to be bought. I'm not trying to stay in this area for a very long time. I just want this business to be bought. I love it, and I'm very happy for Money Point. Actually, their story is super inspiring. It's super inspiring.
Okay, so but apart from that, are you doing okay?
I'm doing good. I really enjoyed Thames winning the Grammys. The Grammy for African Record of the Year. I thought that was really, yes.
Has anyone else ever won the Grammy?
I don't think a solo Grammy. I think there have been like collaborations, but not a solo Grammy.
Is she the first solo Grammy winner?
That's amazing. I think she is. We'll fact check, but I think she is.
Wow. Yeah. That's big.
Yeah.
High key, like play, as tough as Nigeria is, we're making tiny progress.
Yeah, we are.
But you're good apart from that?
Yeah,
apart from the things happening, how are you generally?
I'm good.
How's the family?
Family's good. Work is plodding along. How about you?
Okay, pushing through. Almost done with expansion. So, I don't like big reveals. So we'll see.
Slow and steady.
The topic today is actually good for me.
It's good for me too. It's good, but it's bad because then I have to be honest and like introspective and admit that I'm very bad at what we're talking about.
I'm quite excited because I feel like if our guest today hears what I think about how I plan to reopen the house expansion, she's going to side-eye me because my genuine reason for not doing a launch sometimes is actually fear. I just prefer to just let people just be walking and trickling in as they want to. But yes, I'm excited for today's topic.
I am so excited. And I will also say that it's how we connected in a way. The topic is how we connected.
My God, because I remember. We have to tell them the story of how we met someday.
The actual story of how we actually met is so funny. Okay.
I love this. So what are we talking about today? You're going to tell them.
We are talking about networking and social capital.
Guys, I'm going to shade Temi because when we first met, I'm going to give you like a quick lowdown. The first thing I noticed about Temi was how excellent this girl was. Guys, I went to toast her. I actually found myself chasing down a babe because I really, really always wanted to have a podcast and I wasn't going to do it alone. And I needed an excellent person who I was going to do it with. And I met this woman and she speaks, but very little. And in every time she said something, it was always so profound. And I'm like, this babe, come on. I went to Google her, checked what she was doing. I realized she was a strategist. She was in marketing. I'm like, that's my partner. Now the hard part, does she talk? Guys, she actually has so much knowledge. So I want to shade you because,
Shade accepted, guys, because I deserve it. And I also want to say that when we reveal our guest, I also want to say that I'm looking at her, she's looking at me, and I'm avoiding eye contact because every time I run into our guest, she basically tells me networking is so important.
Same
I'm going to introduce you to this
here.
person. I'm going to introduce you to this person, but you also need to put yourself out there. And then I just, until the next time I see him, then she says it again. And I'm like, what have I actually done
It's so funny.
this episode, I'm going to watch it after we record and I'm going to tell myself, Temi, you need to listen to yourself.
It's so funny you said that because the last time I was with her was we're at a conference together. We're both on the panel. And she was telling me how...
Confidence and Killing It?
Yes,
I love
the Confident and Killing It panel.
It away now. Okay,
Oh, don't worry. Some people still don't know.
Okay.
And then we were on the thing and she was telling us about how a lot of us need to network more. And I was telling her how my flaw is I do have a good network, but I don't utilize it as much as I think I can in terms of exchanging, because I find myself being alone. And she was telling me how you must follow up. You must make sure you network, make sure you follow up. And she literally took the follow-up part and happed on it. And that day when I left, guy, have you noticed I changed? How many times do I call you now? To be greeting you every second.
A lot. It definitely grew.
Amplified.
Like, what? I was like, what was going on?
I actually wrote it down that I'm going to follow up more. Okay, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you guys our guest for today. Her name is Bukky George-Taylor. She is a PR expert. I don't even know how to describe her. This woman is a powerhouse. She's phenomenal. She is excellent. She was one of the, I would say, people who kind of brought PR on a commercial and mainstream perspective.
She was a
pioneer. Me to Nigeria. When I first came in, I didn't actually understand PR. And everyone talked about this woman who was always talking about bringing things together, amplifying people's brands. And I didn't understand it. I just thought, okay, so we should be going out every day. I can't. And she was like, guys, you need public relations. So yes, welcome.
Hi,
Bukky. I'm so excited for this. She's already laughing.
Me too.
Will you please introduce yourself to our guests?
Of course. So my name is Dr. Bukky
George-Taylor.
Them. I'm the CEO and founder of an agency, Robert Taylor Media. My agency will be 20 years old soon.
Wow.
So we've been around for a while. I specialize in everything from crisis management, media relations, new market entry, influencer marketing, special events, personal branding. I mean, the list goes on. I am the PR expert. Oh, the expert communicator.
I love. Do you know what? You sound like a PR. The confidence to which you just introduce yourself, I'm going to watch it and I'm going to copy it. When you see me outside talk like that, just know that
that is exactly how I'm going to start introducing myself.
Go ahead,
honey. So two things. One, for me, and I'm going to go way back to when I first met you, and it was the Bobby Taylor company, right? Yes. And I feel like if you have been in any professional space, you would know that Bobby Taylor is synonymous with PR. And this was, and she basically set the stage and paved the way for a lot of the excellent PR companies that have popped up.
Yep.
Now, I have a question for you. I've been wanting to ask. I don't know why I didn't just send you a DM. Bobby Taylor to Robert Taylor. Please explain the journey.
So strategic. So I started off the Bobby Taylor company, and it was a strictly entertainment company. So I was doing PR in the music space. So if you check the records of the Bobby Taylor company, we managed brands like DeBange, LD The Dawn, MI, Goldie, the late Goldie. We had a contract with The Green before he'd passed away. Show Them Camp, SDC, DJ Case, Fela on Broadway.
Oh, wow.
And the list goes on. Concerts, Lagos Jazz Festival. And whatnot. So I started to notice that we were being a bit snubbed by the corporate side of things. Because, I mean, we're communicators and we actually took a lot of pride in being able to communicate in lifestyle and in corporates. So our 10th year anniversary, I decided to rebrand and introduce a more mature Bobby Taylor. And if you think about it, Bobby is the nickname for Robert. So it was a rebrand. And when people ask me, who's Robert Taylor? Robert is actually my maternal grandfather and George Taylor, my paternal grandfather. And the reason for that was because when I was entering the entertainment industry, there weren't very many women. And so I kind of wanted a masculine name to enter that space. But we're Robert Taylor Media. And
so it's very strategic.
It was on purpose.
And you guys know I'm like a geek for rebranding. So as soon as I saw the rebrand, without even having to listen to the explanation, I just thought maturity and growth.
Of course.
Bobby has become Robert.
Yes.
And I loved it.
Bobby
I loved it immediately.
We now formally introduce the two arms, which is our corporate and our lifestyle.
It makes sense. It's almost like when you think about it as well, you have gone through the product life cycle of your brand as well. So you got to maturity with one of your businesses and you had to go back to growth and you just diversified to definitely bring out the growth.
That's one of the things I love about this town we live in. Yes. You can literally introduce yourself
again
over and over again.
And again.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
To be authentic to your journey.
Yeah. And also growth. And something that's, and this still kind of links back to public relations as well. One thing I also got from that was the growth. It's almost like a child going from infancy to teenager to an adult.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And funny enough, when we did rebrand to Robert Taylor, we attracted the kinds of clients that we wanted.
Absolutely.
That is
so I moved completely away from music and started dealing with brands and organization and non-profit organizations.
And your PR journey. So if we go back to the basics of public relations, a lot of the word that gets thrown out is network, building your social capital. Networking scares me, or it used to. I've gotten better at it. And I feel like a lot of people get anxiety because the word gets thrown out quite a lot. Before you define or tell us what you think networking is, I want to ask you, did you start your career by networking?
Big time.
Okay. How did you get
I
here?
moved back to Nigeria in 2009. And the last time I was at home or in Nigeria was in 1998.
10 years.
Right? Exactly. And so I moved back in 2009 with this agency and didn't know anybody. I had to network. And I networked fiercely. And I made sure that I was in the right circles, in the right space of like minds, people that could work with me to take my career to the next level and people that I could be of value to. Because that's one of the things. When you learn what value you bring to the table, networking will be a breeze. Because you'll have a reason why you're in the room and why you're sat on the table.
Okay, this conversation is about to take off. Before it does, where's my technical partner to give me the technical side of things? Temi, before we go further, I think we first even need to define networking. I don't know what you think.
Okay. So I think, and just listening to Bookie talk, honestly, networking probably has a different definition to several people. But to simplify it, we can say that networking is the process of building relationships, right?
Simple.
Whether personal or professional, to exchange resources, information, and opportunities.
I like that.
So that's how I would
information,
think.
resources, and opportunities. Those are key reasons why one should network.
Right. Yes. For me, networking is being in the right room and around the right people.
Wow.
And
Can
for
you
me,
say
networking,
that again, please?
Being in the right room and around the right people. And now keep in mind that the right room and the right people varies for different people, depending on what industry you're in. Now, networking sometimes ends when you exchange that business card and introduce yourself.
It what?
It ends when you exchange the business cards and introduce yourself.
So networking is done.
It's not meant to. And that's where social capital comes into play.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
So you network and then you
okay.
build the social capital, which is why, I've had situations where I've given my business cards to certain people and I'm starting to receive their personal newsletters. I'm beginning to receive newsletters on milestones they're making, what they're thinking about, and I'm getting to know them a little bit more. And then obviously opportunities arise, and then they're being called into the room and we're conversating, and then we're being of value to each other. Especially with this Lagos one.
Oh.
I pity anybody who has not started to build their social capital. You guys know very much, without me saying too much, that who you know matters in this particular town.
I have goosebumps. I'm smiling because my life is about to change.
And who you are also matters, which is why I'm so big on personal branding right now. It's huge. It's important to really, really position yourself as a thought leader in your industry. It's very important to understand what value you bring. It is important to play in the right space. And it's important to have the ability to even draw the industry to you.
Hey.
Yes.
Ooh.
And then you do that. And unfortunately, these things are not done overnight. I keep saying this, and, Gen Z, I love y'all to death. But experience is the only way for you to actually say I'm of value. You don't wake up tomorrow and say, I started a company today. I want to build my... No. You haven't paid your Lagos dues.
We don't talk about this enough.
There is a thing called Lagos dues.
Wow. There is something called Lagos dues. Yes, there is a Lagos dues. Oh my God. And
you have to make the mistakes. You have to do everything else.
Yes.
There's no greater teacher than mistakes.
Oh, I have a good example.
Oh, man.
And the interesting thing to what Bukky just said, Lagos dues can also be coined to something that to your exchange with the environment you're in.
Sure.
Note, it is not unique to Lagos. If you live in London, then what are your London dues? Do you understand? So I guess the message she's trying to pass across is, have you done what you need to do to cement your roots and get people to understand
and to listen
to every facet,
to build that credibility and everything as well,
Do you know what's so funny listening to you speak is when you're an entrepreneur, when you start being an entrepreneur early on in life, so let's say 10 years ago, like I did, you go through a decade and then because it's happening to you, sometimes you have to take stock and look back. Paying your Lagos dues is not easy, but you need to be intentional. And I want to tell people that in my personal experience, paying your Lagos dues can be through positive and negative experiences.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I had a client, a very, very well-known fashion designer who I love, and I just love her as a person. She wasn't happy with our services in the beginning. Do you understand? It was a very tough 6-month period.
Okay.
But as a person who understands social capital, but isn't very good at networking, by the way, and also understands relationships, I was like, you know what? You're unhappy with me, but that's okay. We're going to work through this together. We spent time, we fixed the issue, we did. But imagine if I had just said, oh, she's unhappy, and I had just dropped off.
Which is what a lot of people do.
A lot of people do. No, don't. In fact, I feel like when you make mistakes, that's a big learning opportunity. She's one of my biggest referrers now.
Really?
Yeah, no, and let me even make you laugh. She did go on to hire another agency to complete her work because in the time she was in a growth phase where she was like, I need this fast.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for you to catch up.
Yeah.
However, I do appreciate the time you took and the effort you took and how you kept checking in. Like when she had an issue, she still came back to us because then we had now grown a bit. She still works with us to this day. And she refers us to people. But I had to pay my dues.
Yep.
She was angry. Like I couldn't like slink off and be like, oh, well, whatever. I'll just have another client.
Networked with her and turned her to part of your social capital.
Because let me say this. There's a lot of admiration with the client actually watching you navigate to their happiness, if that makes any sense.
Oh, I like that.
So a lot of people think that once someone's not happy, then you failed and then goodbye and then you go cry somewhere. What are the solutions? How can I make this better? People appreciate the effort.
People appreciate
So there's nothing wrong with failing. We won't be the first. As long as we don't stay failing.
Yeah.
That makes any sense.
No, thank you guys. So one of the things I've gotten from this is networking is about cultivating relationships, and the strongest networks aren't built on transactions, but on trust, values, and shared growth. I think we can all agree with that.
Yes, we can.
And I always say, like, and Bookie said something, she said, your network is your net worth. A lot of people are not comfortable to network. A lot of people don't understand it, us included. And we are both at the top of our careers or on the journey towards the top of our careers. And it's something, when I first met Temi's like, Tobi, you have to help me. I'm like, Temi, you have to help me.
Of course.
How do people get over this hump, this word that is, you have to deal with imposter syndrome. You have to deal with the weirdness of going to just stand there and be looking. You're not even a social person. Like, how do people network?
That's such a good question. And I think that sometimes some people walk into a networking situation by not actually targeting where they want to network. I feel it's important to target. If I'm a fashion designer, I'm not sure why I'm in a tech conference to network, because obviously I will have nothing to say, except maybe I'm about to fuse fashion and tech, and then I'm more comfortable to be in that space. So I find that people are more comfortable when they actually choose where they're networking. Imposter syndrome is a thing. It happens to the best of us. I think that once you start to get imposter syndrome, then you know that you're on the right track.
Okay.
I've chosen to look at it that way.
That's an angle.
It is an angle.
Yeah.
It is.
Why
Never thought
would
of
you?
It that way
stretches
before.
you.
Of course,
Yeah.
because it's like you're ready for this stage, and you're afraid. Are you for real? Are you not? That feeling, I feel that you are well on your way.
Okay.
And I don't think imposter syndrome completely stops. I just think that you learn to work through it.
Yeah.
I hope people really took that on board. Like, that is such a big, you've just shifted my perspective on imposter syndrome. And I hope a lot of you took that on, because if you take on what Bukky just said, you might be able to turn imposter syndrome to a slightly positive thing for yourself. Because
that's how I've chosen to look at it. Because I do have imposter syndrome as well.
Really?
Of course.
How?
I have
You're so strong on being around
major
people.
social anxiety as well.
You would
If
never
I
know.
walk into a room and I don't know where I'm going to be sat, there's a good chance I'll turn around and walk away and leave the room.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So working through it, and it's so crazy how this started. One of my, fun things that I like to do is that I like to draw people together for socials. So I had started Zemba.
I remember.
Yeah. And it was 90s music, Thursday night, starts at 7 p.m. And the first day I started it, 30 people, all of us were vibing, Aaliyah, Biggie, singing everything. The next Thursday I walked in, and the door, you can't see through. So I opened the door and it was bodies.
I was probably one of those bodies.
And I was like,
I remember
one of those bodies.
Who are the? And everyone's staring at me like, yo,
well
you
done.
just done a thing. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. Next thing, my legs start to wobble until I got to my seat. And that's where my own started because I'd never seen so many people look at me before. But I worked through it. And again, knowing who you are, building your personal brand gives you a lot more confidence to walk into these rooms. So when it comes to networking, definitely make sure it's targeted, people that you want to meet. Make sure that you're able to even identify who you are, what you bring to the table, and what you're about. A lot of people go into networking situations and don't carry any business cards. We have digital ones these days. We have physical ones. It just helps. Your email's on there, your social media is on there. Some people are getting very creative with it. Your headshots, blah, 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 whatever it is on there. But for me, that's just the basics. How do you engage the people that you've met?
That's the next stage. So how do we engage the people that we've met? Temi, how do you engage people?
Listen.
Before Bookie gives us another lesson, like, do you engage people? I struggle.
We were talking about in the beginning, one of the things I said to you very transparently now, I was like, Tobi, you need to drag me out of my shell.
Yeah.
Right? Because, if you follow Tobi on social media and just her business journey, you find out that she has a way of infusing engaging content to draw people in. So it's like I can draw people in and then I will now deliver value, right? So she's fun and she's telling you really relatable things, but that's because she's engaging. Oh, you didn't know you were doing that? Like she's engaging with you before she drops the bomb of value, right?
Fair enough.
Now, I said to her, every year it's like this.
Yeah,
I want to be more this. I want to do this more. I want to do this. I said to her, okay, fine. I'm going to hold myself accountable, but I'm also going to say to you, drag me with you, right? Because it's one thing to network, which is, and now, like one of my current jobs, it's basically networking central.
Do you know what? I think that's where...
Who haven't I met?
Life came through.
Yeah. But then engaging.
Do you know what? You know what Temi does, right?
So it's a government role, and so I just advise on like partnerships and strategy, and
small to medium businesses.
So obviously, we have a lot of engagements, a lot.
Sure.
So you meet so many people from within the country, outside of the country, in different private, public, whatever. So you get really good at engaging. I mean, networking. You get really good at networking. You get really good at working a room. How do you engage them afterwards is where I begin to struggle.
So sorry.
And that's where it now goes into your personal brand.
Yes.
And for example, for what you do, especially when it comes into forming partnerships and strategic partnerships, I'm sure there's a lot you can teach us. I would love to sign up to a newsletter.
I love that.
I would absolutely love to sign up to a monthly newsletter.
That makes so much sense.
And for every single person you meet and you get their business card, you just upload their email addresses on your whatever it is, and they start to hear from you, right? But every time I receive a business card, I feel like the conversation must have been insightful for us to exchange. So after that, as soon as I get home or as soon as I get back to my office, I am going to send you that email, and I'm going to say this, and that. And because I have a lot of social capital as well in the social space, I'm definitely inviting you to the library on Thursday to come sit down and join me for dinner. And then the conversations are going to continue from there.
I love this.
And then you're going to...
Do you know what's so fascinating? Everyone on set is enjoying the conversation today. Temi, I wanted to pick on what you were saying earlier in terms of asking me to drag you. The journey is so interesting you say that, because I feel like the job you're in or something has done such a big 180. You are completely different. You are networking. Like she's doing so well. So it's interesting how such a short period in an intense job has...
Does your organization do... I'm sure you guys do quite a few events.
She does a lot.
So imagine you've met and connected with those people, and your next event, you're the one doing the inviting. You know what I mean?
She has done that. Yeah, that's what
So
happens.
all of those kinds of things.
I was trying to highlight the fact that I feel like with networking, everyone goes through different stages. So what I do is I'm able to... My socials actually is a very cheeky... I don't think it's networking. It's my way of talking to people.
It's authentic.
Yes, but it's not networking, though. I have to be careful not to blur the lines. But it's not networking. It's sharing and being open. So I still need to learn networking.
No, you definitely still
do you understand what I mean?
Yes,
and I always
do.
try to explain that to Temi.
Sure.
That just because I can act like share vulnerably and openly and authentically does not mean I'm a good networker. I'm actually still on the journey to it. And
you know what? It takes time and it takes intentionality. You have to be very intentional. For me, where I'm at right now is actually joining the groups and the organizations in which I want to belong to, in which I believe that the other members in there are people of like minds, that we can share value and all of these things. So, and if you think about it, this city in particular, we have everything. Becoming a member of Miliki, nothing wrong with that. Jet ski, boat club, polo club, Gaia Women's Club.
Like find which one works for you.
Professional bodies as well. Nigerian Institute of Public Relations is there. This one advertising, this one is there. All of these things. And actually not just becoming a member, but actually serving.
Being active.
There's a difference with becoming a member and doing nothing. And there's a difference becoming a member and serving. So I think serving is extremely crucial. That will definitely help raise your social capital.
Do you know one thing that every time you say something, I'm like, okay,
I literally feel like she's talking to me.
To me.
One of the things that has excited me in this conversation is the fact that I'm even able to pull both of you to help me analyze my own journey. Like, so even understanding the fact that what I'm working with right now is authenticity that is leading to social capital.
Yeah.
And I still need to network to social capital. And Temi, I think you also identify that we need to network to social capital.
Oh, yeah.
But what excites me, and Bookie, you will know this, that word social capital, it tantalizes me.
So
it makes me feel rich. I feel like I'm on the journey to something.
Of course.
In fact, I put more pressure on my social capital than the actual money in my bank account.
Of course.
And I don't know, what do you guys think? Like, what is social capital? For me, it's people around me that are just doing bits. They're excellent. They can solve a lot of problems in my life. It could be personal. It could be professional. It could be financial. They're just people that have solutions at their fingertips. Is that the right way to look at it? Okay.
It is. It's definitely part of it. I also think that social capital is the value you also get from the people around you and the relationships you've built, the connections you've built, and also the value that you can give back. I keep hammering on the giving back.
Exchange.
Because it needs to be a two-way street.
Okay.
Because if not, then your social capital could plummet.
Honestly.
If that makes any sense.
What if you don't have anything to give?
Everybody should have something to give.
Yeah,
if you're networking and if you're building these relationships, you can't be building these relationships for no reason. There has to be a reason. It might be a dream. It might be a business idea. It might be a project, whatever it is. You have to have you have to find what value you bring to the table.
And it's funny you say that, because just speaking from personal experience, right? So for me, like, networking is obviously I'm going to maybe on average 2 events a week. I don't know. We have so many engagements. I'm giving out business cards. I've started printing business cards by the hundreds. I'm like, who do I think I am? But whatever, here's my business card. And for me, social capital is really about the depth of the networking, or the depth of the relationships that I then nurture, because you can network with 500 people, but then there are like 20 you've identified to nurture. And keyword is nurture, because you have to keep checking in, you have to keep following up, you have to keep adding value, exchanging value.
Of course.
Because if I reach out to somebody in my social network, like my network who has social capital like Tobi, one day she wants to reach out to me, and I should be able to offer value back to her as well.
It's an ecosystem.
It's an ecosystem, and you're nurturing each other, you're empowering, you're uplifting each other. So for me, the difference between networking and social capital is I have a network. I have 500 people that know me and I know.
Sure.
We know what we do. But social capital are the people, or the experiences that I choose to nurture beyond just that initial, like, you can receive
that you're engaging,
connecting,
you're
engaging, and you're offering
building that credibility.
Exactly.
Is there,
enjoying the
for us to really, can I ask you ladies a question? Does social capital always have to have something at the end of it? When you have a social capital, do you understand? Or when you're what's the word? When you're engaging, or what's the word now I'm looking for? Engaging your social capital. Let me use a real life example. Temi had a client a while ago. She has an agency. I have an agency. And she had a client, and she needed some services because she didn't do social media in her agency at the time. She just did strategy and brand
we also
assets.
didn't do content creation.
And we did content creation. And she reached out, and then we both worked on that job.
Yeah.
So that's an example of using your social capital, right?
Another example I would give, which is more recent and I think more important, is my sister. She started My Friend's House.
Have you heard of the brand? My Friend's House?
No,
it's really good.
But I immediately said, okay, using the social capital I have with Tobi, reach out to her. And she was like, no, but why would she talk to me? I'm starting up. And she spoke to Tobi, and Tobi offered value immediately.
Yeah.
Like, so we had a whole meeting. We did a whole
She was surprised. She came
session.
to me and she said she gave, and I was like, she did it for free. You should have paid her. But that's social capital.
Of course
I was able to.
Completely. And for me, a personal example would be the different businesses in which I own stakes because of who I am. And the value they see of me being part of the team. It's that, you know what I'm saying? People can call you and say, listen, I will give you 5% of my business.
Just to stay here and advise me.
Be part of this team because we understand your value and you've built a personal brand that's credible enough.
That's so interesting. There's a theory, if you guys would permit me, as we're speaking, I started like researching, and there's this. Why we like sharing theories is a lot of things we're talking about is nothing new under the sun.
No, it's not.
It's just, we just want to capitalize on it so that you can use it. So there's a sociologist, Robert Putnam, where he categorized social capital into two primary forms, bonding and bridging social capital. He said, bonding social capital is about the tight-knit relationships we have. So family, close friends, and cultural communities. And then bridging social capital is, it connects us to people, usually outside our usual circles.
Right.
This is the one that exposes us to new opportunities, ideas, and even career advancements. Isn't that so exciting?
Bonding and bridging.
Yes.
I like that.
So technically, your two types, the two ways you can build social capital is by bonding or by bridging your gap. So by bonding is what we talk about, like family and friends. Have you guys ever used your social capital of family and friends to do things?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I raise money through them.
All
the time.
Yeah.
And one happened to me recently. I was telling Temi, I was crying. I'm currently expanding the house.
Okay, nice.
We're not closed, but we're expanding and opening at the same time. And then I needed, apart from raising money, so I try to go through raising money in very intelligent ways. So it's not always like going to a VC or going straight to a bank. So I split it up. So say I'm looking for 100 million. I might take 50 in cash and 50 in equipment or leasing. So I need about, I say 200 million for this expansion. I can't have everything in cash. So I need generators, AC. So whatever that value is, I then go to someone who has a credit line. I also have a credit line. I try to do it through a bank. I'm not going to mention name, but I'm quite upset because you guys said no. How dare you? Even though you've given me loans for quite a lot of times. Then I thought, okay, how do I make this easy for myself? Because I was going through the normal process. Please go through the normal process. I'm just sharing how I use my social capital to my advantage. Then I remember that I had a friend, your friend, who works for, I'm going to mention it, Providus. So they're helping me at the moment. And I had a friend.
Very great.
No, they're
for SMEs, right?
Yeah,
I felt
they're really
very
positioning,
good.
but I don't even know that they know that they're positioning.
Right.
I don't know that they've even understood how they could create products for SMEs.
Oh my God.
So
I don't know if they know that they
to...
are the bank of the businessman or woman.
So they do know.
Do
right?
they know?
They do know, and they're positioning, and they've started creating products for SMEs. I think maybe I think they're playing catch up because the monoliths are just, the big ones are, stronger. So like Providus does something, next thing another bank will be like, hey, we too, we're doing SME products.
That's fair.
But because they have bigger waves.
This one I've heard too many real life stories from individuals, entrepreneurs with Providus.
They know.
They need to tap into those
they
stories.
know. Maybe they need to tap
the stories will sell.
I agree with Temi in terms of they know. I agree with Bookie in terms of they're not doing enough to cement
They should sell the stories.
I've been in business for about 6 hospitality. You get like daily transactions, over 100 to 150 transactions a day. Providus is a bank that I've always known was good for SMEs, but I just never acted on it until I had an issue. So what Bookie is saying is correct. For some reason, they're not penetrating all those business
They need
owners.
those real stories.
So Dami, when I realized Dami worked for Providus, I reached out to her. Hi, I need equipment lease. And she was like, say no more. Let's start the process. And I thought, oh, that was easy. And I was like, I have the social capital, Tobi. You should have just gone that route in the first place. You have value. You have a business. Providus would like to have Neo Social in its books or in its portfolio.
Providus should sponsor this podcast.
Listen,
you heard it here first.
They're one of the people that we are going to.
You heard it here first.
I'm just saying.
Bookie is going to be our PR.
It's
at
this
rate.
They want to position. No, I'm serious.
It's a no-brainer.
Because all of us here have mentioned. It's kind of advertising now.
I love it. But
People
that happened
millions
to me.
for it,
That
right?
actually happened to me. So, so I like the fact that we have a theory, bonding and bridging capital to now support everything we're talking about today.
Okay.
I'm so excited to
So
call
when you
Providus
say
now.
Like after this episode, I'm like, Dammy, did you hear what we said, girl?
Yes, exactly.
So now it's funny because I love this bonding and bridging because, I'm a visual thinker. I like to think of images. So bonding is like glue. You're already family. So you're just like tightening the bond.
Yes.
Bridging is like one side to another side. So it's
outside
me and another person. We're bridging.
Yes.
So we've spoken about networking, why it's important. And honestly, I know we say this a lot, but this time I mean it. This should have like a part 2.
It really
we need to bring Bookie back on and we need to sit really down, drink some wine and get into the nitty-gritty of it, okay? Are you down for that?
I'm down.
Okay. So now we have talked. Thank you.
Social capital.
And also, guys, can I say we all look gorgeous and green?
Good.
I don't even know. And we didn't plan it. We just, you see, great minds.
I want to ask Bookie a quick question about social capital. How do you manage your social capital, you personally?
I bring value. Period.
Simple.
Even if I see a post you've made, I might send you something that I've thought about concerning what you've done. If I see you've written an article and I show up for people.
You do.
A lot.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So I'll attend your event. I mean, for goodness sake, I attend my hairdresser's father's funeral. I will attend your event.
Yeah.
I could decide to give you a simple PR strategy tip on something I know you're doing. Be part of the conversation with the value and the knowledge that you have, because where the world is going right now is very knowledge-based.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do, and that's how I maintain mine. So they will benefit from me, and in return, obviously.
So for good social capital, you can't just take.
No,
value as well. You have to bring the value.
It doesn't work. It'll fizzle out at some point.
And
another thing you don't want, honestly, is to be seen as a person that they're always giving.
It
puts you down, whether you like it or not.
You become a burden.
If you're not giving back, you're down.
Yeah.
No, it's funny.
Yeah.
I don't care how tiny it is.
Yeah, that's true.
And this actually goes out to a lot of our staff as well.
Of
if they really understand social capital, they will actually understand, like, it's actually a way to even kind of keep going in the next step. And
that's why you'll be shocked sometimes somebody will come and say, Madam, I know I do your eyebrows and you've patronized me for the past 2 years. Your birthday is coming up. I'll do it for you. You're going to keep going back there.
Oh my God.
You will continue to go back there.
That is true.
And people don't realize, how long is it going to take you to do that thing? 1 hour? Is it going to take out any money from you? Not really. It's your expertise.
You're building social capital with your clients.
You know?
Yeah. Do you know my assistant, one thing she does that I appreciate is if I say borrow me money, she will always bring it out. You have staff where I will say, can you give me 1K? You don't have. Somehow, when you need 1K, me too, I don't have. No, it's actually true. It's such a layman's example. But my assistant, one day I was stranded. I needed 100K. I was shaking. I looked at her. I thought, will she have? I said, no, yeah. Do you have 100K? She said, yes, ma'am, transferring it right now. I gave her back 200.
Yeah.
I appreciated the fact that she went in, or she even has value for herself enough to save enough to have a lump sum. I saw her differently.
You know, the one that even just shocks me. Sometimes a lot of people who have products and services to offer, I'm like, why are you not offering your products and service in exchange for visibility? Why
Seems
not?
like the simplest thing to do.
It is very simple.
Hello. Why not?
Absolutely.
It's a form of social capital,
and you can be listed as a sponsor of something by offering your product. And say, it's, because if you're going to come and hire me now, I mean, God knows how many tens of millions you're going to have to pay. Get the visibility by offering what you have.
Yeah.
And that's why I said each one of us must have some value we bring to the table. And something we can do to make the next person's business, life, event, whatever it is, a bit better.
Yeah.
And then when you're asking for something, it doesn't seem so odd. You know?
You spoke earlier about how you have social anxiety, right? And because that's one of the, as you were talking, I was just thinking about it and I was thinking, okay, sometimes people want to, like they have the intention to, but then there are things that hinder them. There are things that, kind of reduce their confidence. Or like, I want to ask you, like obviously in your experience doing this for decades, what are some of the things, and this is also for our listeners and our watchers and everything, what are some of the things that can hinder your ability to network?
When you're not confident that your product is good.
That's even where I was going with
What if you're confident your product is good?
You will enter there and tell them your
no,
product
Bookie,
is
you will
good.
still be afraid sometimes.
No, but you are sure of your brand and your product.
But
so even if you are afraid, your product in itself will speak for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Which is why I always tell people, personal development, professional development, we can't stop.
Okay, fair enough.
Can't. And luckily for us, and funny enough, this year I'm going to be releasing a book of coaches that we have in Lagos.
I love it.
We have confidence coaches in Lagos. We have all kinds of coaches in Lagos, and we need to normalize being coached.
I agree.
To learn. You can always learn from someone.
Yes. I remember when Amaechi Okobi was religiously going to Toastmasters.
Yes, yes.
Religiously.
Yes.
I didn't understand at the time.
Yes, yes. He definitely, I paid attention to that. Yeah.
It will give you that extra oomph of confidence that you need to walk into that room.
So self-development.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what you're essentially saying is, and I want to speak for a lot of people DM me. Tobes, you're so confident. I'm like, I'm not. I'm actually teaching myself to be. I spent 4 years using my stories to repel shame, repel embarrassment, and everything that hinders speaking up for yourself. Because a lot of times you're just shy. You're embarrassed. You're wondering, what would they say?
What would they think?
Meaning, there's no they. Guys, who is they? It does not exist. It's all in our head. But there are people who physically, it's not them. They genuinely have physical manifestation of anxiety.
Newsletters.
When they have to. Okay.
Emails.
So you basically...
Or hire someone else to be the face, maybe?
So that's it. So it's like a...
What do you think?
I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
So your newsletter acts as the mascot, or basically like a representation.
Yeah. You're still connecting, and then some people prefer to connect one-on-one.
One-on-one,
as opposed to going into a space. It takes a while.
It does.
You know what I mean? I'm sure where I was in 2007 when my business started, in terms of my confidence, it's completely different. But I needed to go through all of the failures, all of the highs, the lows, all of the development and all of that to be able to. So I tell people to be very, very easy on themselves. Being shy to network is not uncommon, but in this life and age and day that we're in, we need social capital.
Got it. So what I hear from this is...
almost before cash. Almost. If not for food and shelter.
Yes.
Everything else.
So what I'm hearing is, if you hear what Bukky is saying, I really like it, because she's saying it won't be easy, but start the journey in however way you can. Because Temi, you've gone on the journey. You're better.
I'm better, but I have a long way to go. And I think it's just, and that self-development is very important. And you had also mentioned sometimes where you are, the society you are in or the ecosystem you're in. Let me give an example, which is something I hear a lot just from talking to friends and talking to people who are starting out. We can be a cliquish society.
We are a cliquish
society.
Nice. Temi, you said nice. Can. You were being diplomatic.
I was being too diplomatic. We can be, there are organizations that exist right now that have reputations of being almost snobbish, almost like
we are.
You can't sit with us, and you're supposed to be uplifting.
When I was 10 years old in secondary school, we had cliques.
Yes.
So think about it on a professional level. So your average startup entrepreneur who is like, okay, today is the day. They are repelled by the fact that, what if I walk into a room and everybody looks at me like this? What is your secret? Or tell us like how to get through that.
For example, if I was an entrepreneur, first thing I'd want to do is to join a platform like Premier Business Network. We have organizations that are actually a real community. PBN is a fantastic community. When you come in, they welcome you, you get to tell everybody what you do, who you are, and you're immediately networking, right? So there are assisted communities like that that are not cliquish in any way.
I like Founders Circle.
Founders Circle is on point.
There's another one I wanted to join, Harambians.
There's so many. Like right now, my interest is...
Could even be something we start as well. There's always room for
Oh yeah, no,
it cannot
definitely.
be enough in this climate. With 200 million people, we haven't even started to dent.
And my thing is, if I was to start something like that, it's almost like the tagline wouldn't be "Come as you are," but that would be sure as hell what I'm telling you.
Come as you are.
Because
basically.
I don't want. Please, nobody steal my idea, okay? Thank you.
They'll never be able to execute it like
that is
you.
Facts.
Go
that
right
is
ahead.
Facts on facts
Thank you.
on facts.
Thank you, Bookie. See why I love her.
Facts on facts.
So my thing is, I need people who are really going through the motions and learning to network and build social capital to be able to do it free of judgment or shame or fear or okay, like you can even come in and say, look guys, I lack confidence. Like I almost want to build a situation in where you can give a elevator pitch in a dark room where nobody looks at you, because that's what you need.
Totally on brand.
That's what you need.
I like it.
I love that.
Like it.
That would actually
that's really
change.
amazing.
That's disruptive. Those are the things that actually like change
production.
economies.
Please cut that part out. So
Leave it in. We're gonna do it. And anyone who tries to steal it will
and
know
then
where
watch
they
people call you and say,
"Don't worry,
I'm interested in that. How can I support?"
I have lawyers
in
my network.
Such a dope
idea.
I
have social capital with lawyers.
Yes.
So speaking about that, I like that because another thing that hinders people from networking is inequality. I remember when I was growing up, like coming from an environment where I had nothing, I used to look at this circle, this clique, and think, oh, more, I need to be there. How do I get there? What do I need to do to get there?
By marriage, I'm kidding.
Sorry,
she said what she said.
She said what she said. I love it.
I'm kidding.
No, but you get my point. There's that inequality. There's that barrier inequality also brings to you. Because whenever I go out, I see girls hovering. They're the ones who are confident. They're exposed. They already have. They're confident in their social media. They have some confidence at home. They approach you already, and you have the other ones who are, hi. They don't even know they can come and talk to you. They just by looking at you, they already feel a barrier.
The one I don't like is I'm a fan. Don't do that.
But that's the
For
thing.
me, you've put yourself somewhere. I
That's
don't believe.
People, though,
yeah, it is a
how
lot
do
of
we
people. I
How do we
don't buy
teach
into
them?
that.
Okay.
I think I admire your work is a better way to
communicate.
Just in the language. But going to someone and saying, I'm your fan, I don't even know what that means. You end up belittling yourself, I feel. So what does a fan mean?
I admire
someone that was fainting when Michael Jackson was singing. I don't know what fan means.
Yes.
So I admire your work. I would love to learn from you. If there are any opportunities for any mentor-mentee relationships, I'm interested. Not I'm your fan.
So that barrier of them feeling like you're there and they're here, how would you advise them to bridge it?
We've all done it. When I started, there were the people that were there and I was here. One day, they will get here and the next person is there.
So how did you creep up?
By building myself.
Got you. Okay.
My personal equity.
Got you.
My brand. My personal brand. Self-developing. Building my business where I'm confident enough.
Articulating yourself.
To all of that. So it's a journey and everybody must start somewhere. I don't care who wants to fly quickly. It's not happening.
When you've been afraid to approach someone in a situation, I'm sure a scenario has happened. What did you do? Did you walk away and try again? Or did you force yourself
I've
through
never
the
been
exit?
afraid to approach someone.
So, okay. So that's where the gap is. A lot of people are.
There are layers. And, sometimes when you think about life experiences, my mind goes to cliches, right? So, that cliche, fake it till you make it.
That's the best
I don't
thing.
know. I don't buy into that one.
So people have to, Bookie.
So the thing is, you've touched on socioeconomic inequality.
Yeah.
You've touched on, just how to use language to reframe the way you approach people, which from now on, guys, like, don't tell someone you're a fan, say you admire their work. But then there are people, Toby, who have to wake up in the morning. There's that whole TED talk on the power pose. Like how you have to do this power pose for like 20 minutes before you go into a boardroom to give yourself confidence if you're feeling.
Of course.
I know. So that's what I'm saying. I don't like cliches because they just kind of condense a bunch of layered feelings into one sentence. But that fake it till you make it is what a lot of...
Maybe what we need to do, I like what Temi is saying. What we would do is maybe...
Can I tell you why I don't like faking it till you make it?
Yes.
It gives you a false sense of success and grandeur. That might hinder you from actually doing the work.
What do you suggest in its
fake it till you make it is you are so fake it till you
For
make
me,
it.
fake it till you make it means that you're pretending
No.
to have made it before you make it.
In the
Okay,
context of
I think in the
networking.
context of networking,
So like
it's
fake
slightly
the confidence.
different.
Fake it. Like,
Okay,
fake
to
the
the confidence. Okay, because
Yeah.
because there is an actual
Oh,
term
yes, we know.
of fake it till you
In,
make
like,
it, which
business.
means
Oh,
that
yeah, in
you
business.
pretend, post face fake things
don't
on
do that.
Instagram.
Don't do that.
Before
Don't
you
do
do that, I don't buy
Guys,
into
can
it.
I first even remind you
Because-
that is not on
brand.
brand?
No,
At
it is
all.
Don't do
not.
it.
Because
all.
let me tell you something. Nigerians are so intelligent.
They are. They'll see through
We
it.
can see right through it.
Yep.
And actually, people resonate better with people with an authentic journey.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything is perfect, if that makes any sense.
No, I like this. So I think for us, the fake it till you make it is more the confidence.
Yeah,
sure, no problem.
Like,
that one I don't mind.
Lord, whatever you need to do you need to breathe in? Do you need to look cute? Do you need to pretend? Do you need to shake it
I've
up?
seen people who walk into a room and see somebody and quickly Google. Okay,
I was just about
this
to ask you.
This is the last achievements they've done.
Oh my God!
Hi,
I was about to ask
Mr.
you.
Lagbaja.
Is
Yes,
that a bad thing?
congratulations. No, it's perfect.
I think it's
congratulations on your last
I
award at so,
Can I
and
give you
you're
guys
now
an
more
example?
specific.
Can I give you an
Just
example?
pray they don't ask you questions.
The other day we were at the house. I went to the house. Do you guys know Remy Dada of Space Finish?
No.
Okay, so he architects Space Finish. And a friend of mine.
Please, I'm looking for him.
He is great.
As long as you mention architect. I'm trying to put together
Bookie?
an event for architects.
No, he's excellent.
Yeah.
He is so excellent. His mandate is he delivers projects on time. He has never deviated from it. He infuses tech. He does a lot of the projects in Nigeria, from airports to offices. Like he built the Google office, built the Andela office, airports. I don't want to talk about a lot of his other projects because they're government.
Based on the social capital
on
I have,
time.
You've now found somebody
I could possibly connect with him.
I
Do you
guess
see what I'm saying?
I know another
Okay,
architect that I want to introduce you to.
On time.
And then because you trust what I do, and that if I'm putting together something for architecture, it makes sense, you would give me the content.
100%.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just,
Yes.
This
But,
is what it is.
this quick story. So Remy Dada is sitting there. You know, if you Google Space Finish, when you guys go, you should.
I will.
Okay. So a friend of mine was with me. She's a quantity surveyor in the UK who is about to move back to Nigeria. And we're walking. Me and her just literally spoke about how you want to move back. We manifested it. We prayed about it and we said it's going to happen this year. She gave herself a deadline of July. We walk into the restaurant. Remy is sitting there and I'm like, oh, Remy, meet my friend. I was like, hold on. Oh, yeah, great. This is perfect. You entrepreneur, big company, you're going places. She, fantastic worker, talk. They said hello. She looked at me like, darling, this setup you just quickly set up. Help me prepare. I told her, don't worry, ride the wave. She rode the wave. They said hello. He then joined his friends. Then we sat together and we went to the bathroom. No, I lied. He was still sat there and she goes, I need to use the bathroom. This girl went to the bathroom. She texts me. She goes, please come. I go to the bathroom. She goes, do you know what software they use in their company? I said, huh? What company? Who are you talking about? She goes, him. I said, what's going on? She goes, we have a job. We need to get a job by July. I've just met my next boss. I need to research him. I said, oh, she goes, yeah, I'm on the company. She goes, this is it, right? Space Finish. She goes, yeah, what software do they use? I said, she goes, what's his name? What does he do? When she got it, she goes, right, we're ready. She went back there, sat, did not say a word, played with all of us, her friends for another 30 minutes. And she goes, Toby, we're leaving in 15. Okay, it's time to shoot my shot. And she sat with him, spoke to him. The next day, he had an interview with her in the morning. He left. He called her back, had a second interview in the evening. That same evening, he called me. He goes, I need to see you. He came to my house to talk about her. Yeah. Wow. This happened last week. Yeah. Like, so hearing you guys talk about, when you said that research thing, I was mind blown because this girl literally boom, 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 boom. So, and it's going to happen for her quickly.
So, I was actually going to ask you if it's jarring for you for somebody to come up to you and talk about something you've achieved. But the reason I was asking was because in my line of work, sometimes you're sitting in a room with a lot of HNIs and also government officials, right? And sometimes you have to, not only for myself, but also the person I work with, you have to give them a quick, boom, 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 this is the person, this is what they've done. Say hello, Mr. So-and-so. Thank you for your, and so you have to just do it on boom,
really?
boom, in real
I've
time.
never experienced that before.
All the time. You have to be like,
this.
you have to be like, last week.
Which is why.
I looked at her like gold.
Which
so
is
people
why
do this.
It is also important for people to build their brands.
True. So people have things to reference.
Wow.
Now I feel humbled.
Okay, so I need to go and build my brand.
Somebody better come up to me and be like, I heard what you did last.
So how people even think about us as well? How they even view us as well?
Yes, and when they Google us, what do they find?
What do they find? Oh no, please don't Google.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Bukky, hey, God, you really have really like,
shaken the table.
One last thing that is a hindrance, and I know someone has, I don't fall out with people, but I had a little thing with someone one time where she actually said, Tobi, I don't know, you've changed. You come across a bit fake. And that's because I would say I'm quite strategic. Maybe calculated.
Maybe you're a guru.
I am a guru. But what do I mean? What do I mean by that? When I meet people, I know there's an exchange that would happen, and I want to identify very quickly.
Sure.
When I met Temi, I liked her as a person, but more importantly, I was looking for a partner.
Nothing wrong with that.
And when I started befriending her, I was very honest with her. I want to go on a work journey with you, but we're going to build a friendship in the process.
That's called grown girl business.
But a lot of people say it's fake.
It's not. And that's why I'm saying it. Listen, you're going to outgrow people. And they're not going to see you the same way. And your real troopers will follow you on that journey, right?
Fair enough.
So when you become this new person, because with every experience, I'm sorry, layers are
shedding.
You become a different person all the time. So to somebody else, it might be fake.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, that used to bother me.
That's why I said maybe you outgrew this person.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I also think, just to chip in here, I also think that sometimes there's a genuineness is it genuineness or genuity? Anyway, we keep asking ourselves how to speak English on this podcast. There is a way people are genuine when you speak to them that you know instinctively that they're not fake.
Fair enough.
So there's some people you speak to and you're not really sure how genuine they are. Like you can almost see the calculation or the strategy behind. But there's a way, like the way I like to approach people anytime I meet them is to just be like honest and genuine. I'm coming up to you because I like what you said on this panel. I don't know you from anywhere.
But
however, I think I just like you. I think what you had to say was really brilliant.
Exactly.
And I think
I want to spend more time with you. I want to spend more time with you. I was in a panel in South Africa and this lady, I can't remember her name, she blew me away. I was mesmerized because she was really talking about how you introduce yourself to people when you walk up to them. She was like, you start with a compliment, then you go into value, and then you end with next steps. You know, so you're like, the person is like, whoa, wow, boom, boom, boom. You're just hitting me from every angle. You know, I love your dress. It's gorgeous. Anyway, I love what you did with Robert Taylor.
Yes.
Anyway, can we meet next week at 2 p.m.?
Yes. Boom, boom, boom.
And then I was just like, straight up. So I think that if you're genuine, it might be difficult for people to think, this person is calculating or strategic. It's okay. Sometimes it's not even okay to be strategic.
I don't think it's lack of understanding that makes you even say things that way, because how many people can you actually be friends with?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you can network and work with a lot of people.
Yeah. I like the way you put that.
Okay, this has been great.
Yes.
I'm having a blast, an absolute blast, like with Temi and Bookie. I hope you are too. We're now in the favorite segment of the Totally On Brand podcast, question time. We have a lot of questions. This is my Temi is like, okay. We have two great questions for Bookie. I'm going to ask the first one. Temi, do you want to take that?
Fire away.
Okay. Is there a point when you've built enough connections, or is networking a lifetime process?
Lifetime for sure.
You said that very quickly.
Oh, yeah, no, of course. Definitely a lifetime. You never stop.
Really?
Of course. Because, you know, forget where we are in our lives now. We're going to be somewhere else in the next 5 years.
Ooh, okay,
of
fair enough.
course. And somewhere else in the next 20 years. And it continues to grow.
Absolutely.
Yes, and we continue to nurture and whatnot. So I definitely think it's a lifetime. People shouldn't feel like this is all they know and then that's the end.
Yeah. How do you tackle the exhaustion of thinking? Because people also get exhausted with networking.
Well, the thing is, for me, if you have a particular career and if you're a thought leader or you've built your personal brand to become a thought leader, you're not going to get tired.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Because you're constantly going to be introduced to people who admire your work.
Fair enough.
You're going to be introduced to people who might need your help.
Okay.
And trust me, you're going to want to give back once you've reached a certain point.
So maybe,
and if you're a true leader, because leaders build other leaders, not followers.
So maybe the thing is you have moments of exhaustion or tiredness.
Yeah, and feel free to take back
and work through them. Fair enough.
You know, but then you come back and do what
Temi, do you want to take the second one?
Yes, and I'm particularly interested in this. So how do you balance professional and personal networking, and do they affect each other?
They don't affect each other. And I have different spaces for all. You know, so my personal networking, unfortunately for me, I live and breathe my work. So my personal networking is my work.
Okay. Fair enough.
If that makes any sense.
And for other people, what would you advise people who are not in PR? Do you understand it's not a natural form for them? How would you advise them to handle?
So I would say just learn to have a balance like you have with everything. Your personal networking is important so that you have your personal circles, and then professionally so that you can grow, be aware of industry trends, you know, connect with the right people, give back to your industry, all of that stuff. Just learn how to balance it.
It really does. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I've had a blast.
I've had a blast.
I've learned so
Join
much.
organizations and serve.
Yes, you absolutely have to.
Join organizations and serve.
I'm gonna take one up this year.
Yeah,
I really like that. Too. At least even if it's one.
Yes, I agree. And you know, thank you for hanging out with us today.
Thank you.
I really hope that everybody listening and watching has a pen and a paper, because I'm gonna rewatch and
I'm going to rewatch and take pen and paper and take
okay,
notes as well.
Perfect.
Well, use a pen and paper to take notes. Tobi Hamilton.
So imagine now, eventually, you guys are going to be sitting on boards.
Amen.
Oh, yes,
oh, that's the goal. Amen.
And then, you know, it's attending events at the UN. And
Amen. TED Talks.
And everything else.
Yeah.
So it doesn't end.
It doesn't end.
And listen, social capital, I can get you in there. Like,
I feel like I'm convinced today that Bobby Taylor Media is going to handle our PR.
Robert Taylor.
Oh, okay, Robert Taylor. Interesting, do you call it Robert or do you do Bobby and Robert?
Bobby's gone.
Okay, so they both sit under Robert Taylor.
Bobby has graduated.
Bobby graduated.
Bobby grew up.
So Robert Taylor, Bobby grew up.
Bobby's a man now.
I love that, exactly.
Bobby's a man now.
You don't want to call Bobby is his teenage
Bobby's driving a Ferrari.
And you guys, another thing that is so important that I definitely want to leave before I leave. Oh, that rhymes.
Bars, okay.
Is networking outside our country.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
We need to get into that Pan-African movement. There's a lot going on.
I like that. Pan-African especially.
Definitely.
Yes.
Because the eyes are on the continent.
Yes.
And it would be nice
to call
if
my South African friend.
Yes. SA, Kenya, everywhere else.
Yeah.
World's getting smaller.
The
continent in itself is getting smaller.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for being like a ball of gems, great energy, positivity, and growth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you to everyone for hanging out with us today.
Yes, thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to listen, share, watch, whatever, wherever you find podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Share with a friend, and we will see you next time.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.